The program. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. Snowmageddon is on the way, buddy. It's coming.
The snow, the ice. I had to adjust my volume over here now that I'm sitting in the great chair of the great Bo Bishop. Had to rein that in. Snowmageddon's bad enough. You don't want to have to hear it at that volume.
Had a good run, gents. We'll see you on the other side, Ray.
I think that's where we're at, buddy.
I'm putting on.
I think that's where we're at, Egon.
Going with the baby blue sunlight. That's what we're trying to feel right now. A little sunlight,
Little joy.
little joy.
You look great.
Oh, thank you very much. You look fantastic, if I may say so.
Oh,
Resplendent,
it's coming.
especially with a profile behind you of nothing but greatness. Really, is what you've got there.
you know, some strong William Tecumseh.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Tecumseh.
Ohioan doing his work.
I have a good
some good
Tecumseh
work.
story.
Do you?
I do.
I bet you do.
I do.
I bet you do.
I actually do. Yeah.
For air or not?
No,
Not.
no, not
For
even.
air.
Not even close. Not even.
We are.
Close.
This is a weird time right now in the league, in that so many of these coaching candidates are involved this weekend,
Yeah.
and so you're kind of in a situation where even if you really like somebody, and you went through this yesterday, there are processes that have to take place before you can make that hire, and so you're kind of. Unless you did like what the Giants did, and obviously that's an easy one. Like, you identify Harbaugh, but you still have to get those Rooney Rule candidates in and interviewed in person, and then you can kind of go. But it's kind of stuck a little bit for the league is at this point. With this, we did get there's all sorts of rumors going on out there of things that could happen, but for the most part, it feels like for the 6 teams that are still without coaches, it's a little bit of a pause.
It's definitely, and that's That's the weird part of this. There are so many things that have to be satisfied, whether it be the Rooney Rule, whether it be, in the case of Nate Shieldhouse, whether you have to wait until you can't even interview him in person until next Monday. And should the Rams advance to the Super Bowl, then you couldn't obviously hire him until after the Super Bowl. So, yeah, it is interesting, I think, how this is shaping up. The vacancies that were filled quickly with guys that, in terms of the first two right out of the gate, you had Harbaugh, fired coach, Stefanski, fired coach. Now we've got Jeff Hafley in the mix, who was a coordinator whose team was eliminated in week 1, and so they were able to get that done at this point. But, for the Browns, Udinsky obviously could be hired at any second. Schwartz could be hired at any second once the Rooney Rule was satisfied. And so for the Browns, that means that you have to interview. If you do not hire a minority candidate, you would have to interview 2 of them for your head coaching job. The Browns at this point have interviewed 0. They would be able to hire Shieldhouse without interviewing another minority candidate if they were to make him their head coach. But again, that's far off, and based on the outcome of Sunday, you don't even know if he's even eligible to be hired next Monday.
No, this is the only, I have a lot of criticism for the college calendar because it's just a complete disaster, and we've talked about it before. This is kind of the only part of the NFL calendar that doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Is right now.
Yep.
It just, and I don't know what the solution to it is. If it's to freeze, do you freeze all hiring until after the Super Bowl? Then everything would be back channeled. I don't necessarily have an answer for it at the ready, but this is the one part of the NFL calendar that's pretty cumbersome.
It is, if you're not involved in these things, which means you're either playing or you've been a successful franchise. It's nothing. You're not worried about this time at all. Not my problem. But when it is, then it becomes a very interesting time and scenario. And quite frankly, doing the program that we're doing is very, very difficult because we don't know when there will be a new head coach. We don't know who will be, obviously, the new head coach. We don't know, obviously we know all along they want to keep Jim Schwartz and his staff here, so you feel pretty good about that. We've seen Tommy Rees go, and that's why we couldn't even talk about prior to today, some of these guys, maybe they are being interviewed. Maybe Jim Schwartz ultimately does get the job. Maybe they're being interviewed for that offensive coordinator position.
Right.
We don't know. Maybe some of the people that were interviewed in round 1, down pitcher from Cincinnati, maybe he was actually being interviewed to be an offensive coordinator underneath one of these young guy head coaches. But we weren't able to talk about that because Tommy Rees here. Now, we still have other – Chad O'Shea is gone, so we know there's an opening there. We have other coaches that are still here and under contract on the offensive side, and you'd have to imagine that, perhaps some would stay, but at the same time that a new head coach or a new offense coordinator is going to want to bring in whoever they want to bring in. And the Hoff did a video on Instagram talking about kind of the three things, that make him a little bit nervous to hire a younger head coach, and certainly acknowledging that it can work and has worked very well in a variety of places. But, one of those is the staff. And can that young coach who has a, smaller network of guys that would be willing to move their families and to say, I'm hitching my wagon to you, and because the reality is if it doesn't go well, you could be talking in a year, 2 years to your family saying, oh, well, we hitched our wagon here and now we're going somewhere else. And so I thought that was a very good point. I also loved on the video. Have you seen that one? Do you know what I'm talking about on Insta?
I have.
I love how he opens it, calling himself the Hoff. He's like, it's the Hoff.
Referring to the Hoff, which is amazing. I love that.
Yeah, brought me great joy.
That's great joy. And then I also love that he's doing his cold plunges just in the air now.
He's unbelievable.
He doesn't have to get in the water if he doesn't want to.
No, it's smart. Yeah, they're right there.
0 degrees.
Yeah, it's just
no reason.
Then you have to immerse. Yeah, it's just it just is cold. It just is cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one of those things.
And Hoff brings up. You're right, and Hoff brings up something that you just illustrated there, which is also like in the case of Udinski and Shieldhouse. They're being interviewed by a lot. Like I think Udinski's being interviewed for Buffalo this weekend.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of this stuff that's happening right now, and guys are taking interviews. But in both of those instances, if they were to become offensive coordinators, they would be play calling offensive coordinators, which is, for both of those instances, they are currently not.
All for the first time. Same
that.
with Pitcher. Pitcher has not
Pitcher
been a play calling offensive coordinator. And so what's interesting about it is, let's say it is one of these young guys, which I think there's a sense that that's kind of, I think maybe one of the ideal outcomes is that you get this young offensive genius and then you keep Schwartz there so he doesn't have to worry about the defensive staff at all. And this is an elite defensive staff. And then right now I know Deuce Staley's still here, the tight end coach still here, the offensive line coach is still here, special teams coordinator is still here. Then they can figure that out. Now they may have people they want to bring in, and we'll see how that ultimately plays itself out. But that's why this is kind of hard to do this right now because, for back-to-back days, you thought you were going to do, we're going to do a Mike McDaniel profile. Well, no, he's now the offensive coordinator of the LA Chargers. Okay, today we're going to do and we talked about him yesterday. We did do the profile on Minter, so glad we got that out of the way yesterday. Jesse Minter, who is not going to be interviewing as scheduled. And I think people are reading that. People are saying, this is a blemish on the Browns. I really don't think so. I think when you look at what I just said, if you go back and know everything that we talk about here, is that the Browns want to keep Jim Schwartz here. And I think Jim Schwartz is going to be here either as the head coach or as the defensive coordinator. And that's why I always thought maybe hiring a defensive coach seemed odd because that would change that. And so for a guy that's a first-time head coach, the defense is certainly not the problem here. He probably realized this probably isn't a job I'm going to get. It's probably not a job that he's going to get.
And it's also very possible that it was back-channeled to him someplace he's already interviewed for that, hey, you're going to be our guy.
Oh, and I think that place could very likely
feels
be
like that's what happened.
The Baltimore Ravens, who he was just with yesterday.
Right.
You don't need to go do another interview. We'll get this all done. So, that's how I look at it. I think it was always the most likely outcome here that we were going to have either a young offensive coach with Jim Schwartz as the defense coordinator, or we're going to have Jim Schwartz as the coach with a young offensive coordinator. But and I don't think anything with that's changed. That's why it's hard to talk about some of the things that are going on here. And I felt especially uncomfortable about it when, Tommy was still here because he was the offensive coordinator, but he was still here as the offensive coordinator. And so that domino has at least, dropped. This is a weird time in the league, and it's a weird time, I think, in particular for us and for Browns fans because we're in this holding pattern where absolutely nothing can happen until next Monday. You've now had back-to-back days of interviews that you thought were going to happen that at least would be news and interesting, and we could talk about it, that are not happening. Now, Udinski's coming in tomorrow, so there is that. And then I kind of laid out those two circumstances, and then the one guy to me that I think could be the one that would potentially blow up all of the preconceived, the what I would call Avenue 3. It's either young head coach, offensive head coach with Schwartz as DC, it's Schwartz as the head coach with one of those young guys as the OC. Or, and then and I really think those are probably the two most likely. But path 3 is that Sean McDermott comes here and says, this is what I want. And I would imagine a lot would come of that. We don't know what anything would look like in that case if Sean McDermott wanted the job, because he's the one guy that it feels like that's available that would have that kind of cachet to do what John Harbaugh did. Now, Harbaugh won a Super Bowl. McDermott has not. He's not even gotten to a Super Bowl. But he completely turned the Buffalo Bills around and made them relevant and one of the best perennial franchises in the NFL. And by the way, took them to the playoffs pre-Josh Allen with Tyrod Taylor.
That's right. There are 3 coaches, and one, as Jay Glazer put it as plain as day, is simply not in this cycle. One has already been rehired, and the other one is McDermott. There were 3 guys, Tomlin, Harbaugh, McDermott, that whatever your perception of how you were going to have your hiring process and what you were looking for in a coach, whatever you thought it was going to be, those were the 3 instruments of chaos that would throw that all out the window.
Yes.
Those 3 guys. Those 3 guys, if they say, yes, I'm interested, I want to interview, I want to be the head coach, whatever, and this is not specific to us. This, I think, is to almost any job in the league, and I think you saw it in New York.
Absolutely.
A situation where we want a certain hierarchy. Oh, John Harbaugh's interested? What do you want? What do you want? You can have whatever you want. You want final say? Fine. Because those 3 guys are proven, known, culture tornado, NFL
commodities,
stud head coaches. They're dudes. There's no – you don't have to put training wheels on them. They walk in the door. They know how to run an operation. Right? And so those guys can change everything that you have set up to how you want a process to go for any team that was involved with any 3 of them. Now, Tomlin's out, doesn't want to do it, and is going to chill. And Jay Glazer says he's never coaching again. And Jay Glazer's very, very rarely wrong on these type of things. Harbaugh's already got a new gig. We haven't heard anybody or anything from McDermott.
Nope.
Which I think is a little interesting. Usually, and I just dealt with this down in Columbus. They fired the hockey coach last week, and he's not of the ilk of McDermott in terms of longevity or anything. So he gets fired on a Tuesday, and I said correctly, he will talk with Aaron Portzline, who's the longest tenured beat guy down there for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He will talk to him within 3 days, and there will be an airing of grievances or at least an explanation of his side of the story will come out. To my knowledge, there has been none of that for McDermott. Like, he hasn't, I haven't seen one quote from him on anything.
No.
So, and I think that's interesting.
So my initial thought is that this is somebody that is pissed and is, I think, justifiably pissed.
I agree.
Who is, I think, taking whatever time he feels that he needs to decompress or to emotionally distance himself before he speaks next. That's how I read it.
Same.
Okay.
100%. He doesn't want to say something he'll regret. He doesn't want to say something that'll hurt him in a process down the line, whether this cycle or next year's. He's always going to be at the top of the list.
Yep.
And he's being patient. But he was fired Monday. It's Thursday, and he still doesn't talk to anybody, like not a beat writer from Buffalo, not a national guy, not somebody at The Athletic, nothing. Not a peep.
So there are 2 people that have not talked in that situation that are kind of stupefying to me. And if I'm incorrect about the second one, we obviously know McDermott's the first, but if I'm incorrect about the second one, please correct me. But the fact that we have not heard anything from Josh Allen, I find to be stunning.
Also. Yeah. Which one's more surprising, Allen or McDermott?
McDermott, because if I Nathan Segura was a McDermott, I would have had a real hard time after that press conference not rebutting or fact-checking things that were said in that press conference. Like almost in real time. Yes, like we get sometimes with some of our political addresses.
Yes.
Like, I would have had a very hard time not doing that. Josh Allen, I think it's like he's in a lose-lose situation because at this point, like, the hay's out of the barn, so you can't, like, cry over the spilled milk. You've got them go. How many analogies I can get in there? You've got it, but you got to be a good soldier at that point, right? You got to be just kind of like you're a Bill still. You're trying to make the organization look as good as it can. And by the way, you do that because you are the MVP and a great player. But I think that's probably why. But I'd be very curious to hear. You had some guys, or at least one player from the Bills. I saw the post where he's like, "This is insane. This guy's the best coach I've ever had. This is stupid." I think he said exactly that. This is stupid.
Yeah, and it's not like the Kevin one. We released Kevin's statement, then Kevin, did a separate one, and so his thoughts were known on it, and then he immediately went out and got into the process immediately.
Right away.
He was interviewing within 2 days for jobs.
He was praised on his way out the door. It was a very different.
Yeah.
It was kind of a. It was like a we've grown apart breakup, where both sides are like,
exactly.
what? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No hard feelings.
We
had some great times, but that's it.
We haven't heard McDermott about interviewing for a job,
and that is not.
We
that.
assume
that was not amicable.
Not at all. Not at all. And I'm sure he feels bitter and wronged and all of those things. But he's the one guy that you got 6 jobs left open. My hunch is all 6 of them. If he's interested, that changes your process a great deal.
Well, and I think he might also know that with some of the people that are targets in these searches still being people that are playing on Sunday, that he's got the luxury of that time.
Good point.
I guarantee his agent, their back channel, there's no doubt in my mind he has an idea of who truly is interested. And my guess would be, is that it should be all of the remaining openings would be, ours included, would be at least interested. We know very much that he was very highly thought of in the 2016 process, and had it not been Hugh Jackson, who ended up being the head coach. And by the way, revisionist history aside, at the time, it was widely stated, Hugh Jackson was coming off being the AP Assistant Coach of the Year, and was widely stated that we won that coaching search.
No question.
Full on. He was the guy to get. But the runner-up in that one was McDermott. So he is somebody that this organization has thought highly of in the past.
And that also proves the point, and that's the one thing that you see all of this crazy dialogue on social. And the reality is that nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything. You have no idea if John Harbaugh going to the Giants is Jimmy Johnson coaching the Miami Dolphins or Bill Parcells coaching the Cowboys.
No, of course not.
There are no sure things.
No.
There aren't.
Not at all.
There were a lot of criticism of the Sean McVay hire. There was criticism certainly with the Niners with Kyle based on what had happened in the Super Bowl. And look, how did all that work? There are no sure things. You just mentioned the Hugh thing. That didn't go well, right?
No.
But at the time,
we
was
won
the
that
number
search.
one guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, you just don't know. A couple other things to pass along here before we get to Bob Socci, who's going to join us here momentarily. Myles Garrett, a finalist to the surprise of no one for Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, he's going to win that. Carson Schlesinger is a finalist for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I can't imagine a scenario where he doesn't win that.
Yep.
So those are the AP awards. Those are the ones that are like your official ones. We kind of outlined that yesterday versus Pro Football Writers. So anyway, that's kind of some cleaning up of that. One other thing to pass along, it is a Mailbag Thursday edition. Get your questions in. You can tweet them to Gibbe at Browns_daily. You can also hit us up in the YouTube chat, youtube.com/Browns. We will answer those coming up at 4 o'clock. Coming up next, an AFC Championship preview. It is New England. It is Denver. The play-by-play voice of the New England Patriots, Bob Socci, going to join us coming up next. We're off and running. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner in your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly. All right, welcome back in Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Time to head on the Twisted Tea Hotline, presented by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. He is our great friend, Bob Socci. He is the play-by-play voice of the New England Patriots, and he joins us now to preview Sunday's AFC Championship game in Denver. You know, Bob, after you win a bunch of Super Bowls like the organization that you work for does, it's supposed to be a while before you're back on this stage.
Yeah, we've had the long, hard wait of 5 years or so since Brady left in between his departure and the emergence of Drake May in year 2 and the Patriots' return to the AFC Championship. I tried never to take it for granted. I don't know that I was able to accomplish that in my first 6 years calling Patriots games. This is my 13th season now, but I think the nice thing about this season, it has been a refreshing change for the Pats, and I think refreshing is the word, because it's been a group that's so much different than any of the teams that I covered early on that advanced this far. There were no expectations for this team to come remotely close to this point. New coach and quarterback, complete turnover of the roster for the most part, and it's been really a joyride for the Pats. Very fortunate, a lot of things have broken their way this year, that's for sure, but here they are.
Bob, by the way, you guys have done a great job on the broadcast. Ethan Segura here, and we played some of the calls. They're amazing, and I think that you can tell it's just been so much pent-up frustration. It's been so long since the Patriots have been good that Zolak can't help himself but get excited in the big moments, and I love that. I love that raw, unbridled enthusiasm. That would be like us, I guess, if the Browns ever were able to get into the postseason. But this has got to be fun. Mike Vrabel was here with us last year. We all absolutely loved him, loved when we got to talk with him, loved having him in the building, and he's come in and done, to be honest with you, exactly what I think Bo and I would tell you we thought he was going to do, and that is make that team a winner immediately. What's it been like with Vrabes in charge?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing, when I say luck, the Patriots, the first stroke of luck for them was in the wake of Mike's firing by Tennessee, the reality that nobody else hired him except for the Cleveland Browns, to consult with Kevin and Andrew Berry there. That Mike Vrabel was still available for the Patriots a year after Bill Belichick was fired, and they were a year into Gerard Mayo's tenure, and of course Robert Kraft made the decision to fire Gerard after the one and only season, knowing that Mike was out there as the top candidate on the market. He has been, I think, everything that we expected and more. And I would say that, the thing with Mike is that he's not only changed the culture for the team in the locker room, but he's really impacted the culture throughout the football building. And I would even say extending beyond the Patriots organization to the fandom of New England. He's really allowed people, I think, access to the team. The players have developed a lot of confidence in one another. There's a great camaraderie, and that's really, I think, a great part, a byproduct of Mike and his staff and the way they have, coached this team. I think it's clear that there's authenticity. He cares about them as people. He coaches them hard and demands an awful lot of them as players. They have a plan of vision that they all share, talking about the coaching staff. You could see that going back to training camp. There were efficient practices day after day after day. You could tell they were on the same page. Even when they were 1-2 and they had struggled against the Steelers in week 3 with 5 turnovers, I don't think the confidence in the players and vice versa, the players' confidence in the coaching staff ever waned. And again, I think as this team is gone from being a pleasant surprise to being a team that's on the doorstep of the Super Bowl, Mike has been very open and transparent with the media as much as one can be in that role, and he's allowed the players to enjoy themselves. They've celebrated victories. And when they clinched the AFC East Division title, they were on the road, and they were actually coming back, and players were watching the Bills game on their phones up in Buffalo against the Philadelphia Eagles. And the buses pulled up to Gillette Stadium, and they all got off the buses to the carport that's in the football facility, and they handed out hats and T-shirts, and they celebrated. Mike wants them to enjoy it, and I think he's welcomed in the fans as well as much as they can to be part of it through social media and access to the team. And it's really been as I said, it's been a very refreshing. As great as the teams were for the Belichick years, it's a much different environment here now.
Bob, was there a moment in Drake May's rookie year, either in camp or at one point in the season, where you thought he would get to this point quickly He's either going to win the MVP or he's going to finish second. They're in the AFC Championship game. Like, shouldn't be this easy.
No, I can't say there was any moment when one could possibly envision this kind of success this soon. There were certainly a lot of moments where he flashed, and you saw the potential. It's funny because the throw that he made to Kayshon Boutte against the Texans on Sunday, now Boutte made a sensational catch. Last year, with a lower degree of difficulty for Boutte against the same defensive back Stingley, Drake May threw that pass. Right sideline, same corner of the end zone at Gillette Stadium, and it was a touchdown to Boutte in a loss for the Pats and Drake's first start. And that's one of those plays, sprinkled amidst a rough afternoon that we saw week in, week out last year from him. You could see the potential physically, and you got a sense of the kind of person he was from what we were hearing from teammates and the way Drake handled himself in what were very difficult circumstances for him, taking over for Jacoby Brissett, a guy that he was very close to, and going through one loss after another, eventually the coaching change. The remarkable thing today is how he's not only grasped but really mastered a system under Josh McDaniels that puts so much more on his plate in terms of running the offense, everything funneling through the quarterback, setting protections, making adjustments at the line of scrimmage, and the way he's led this team and bounced back from some poor plays. The first two games of the playoffs, he's put the ball at risk and has turned it over. And the Patriots have been fortunate that a couple of his fumbles were recovered by Patriots. Otherwise, there could have been a completely different outcome, especially in the Chargers game. And yet he still has that ability after those mistakes, after those poor plays, to bounce back and make a brilliant throw the way he did to Boutte, that aforementioned touchdown, to really help to salt it away against the Texans. But he's really been a young man who has steadily improved in a lot of different ways, not only with the spectacular that he showed last year, but just with the general leadership that you need from a quarterback, the intangible traits that I think you expect of a quarterback in the locker room, in the huddle, at the line of scrimmage. All those things is, all different marks of his progress in the last year.
As you mentioned, the throw against Stingley to Boutte, is he one of the better stories this season? He caught a long touchdown against us, and we saw from the mic'd up that they absolutely knew pre-snap that was going to be a touchdown to him. But you just think about everything he's gone through from his time in college to now, to be making big plays and big moments. That really was kind of the knockout punch there. But what a phenomenal season he's had as that vertical threat.
Yeah, and if you go back to the beginning of training camp, he was probably on the outside looking in, or at least at best, he was the last receiver in the group fighting for a roster spot. Boutte is a guy that at LSU had a great start to his career, and then he suffered an ankle injury that really set him back.
Yep.
He at one point was considered one of the top professional prospects early in his time in Baton Rouge, and he became available to the Patriots as a late-round draft pick, really a non-factor. I think his first game as a rookie, they were trying to rally late in the game against Philadelphia, and he caught a pass along the sideline, and he didn't get 2 feet in bounds. It was a late down play. It was a third or fourth down play that would have prolonged the drive and given them a chance to win that game. But he only got 1 foot in bounds, and it was not really a play that involved a high degree of difficulty, and it was a kind of a lackadaisical mistake by a young receiver that set him back. And there was, I would say, I'll be careful about using the word immaturity, but I would say that he wasn't quite the professional that he needed to be, and even physically. And in this past spring, the coaching staff challenged him in the wake of the OTAs and minicamp. And he came back in the summer, and he was in incredible shape. He, of course, has gone through a number of things off the field as well, including a gambling addiction, which he just wrote about recently in the Players Tribune. And he's really grown up as a person and as a player. Last year, like May, we saw some big plays from him, but this year it's just been more consistent. And it's not only the contested balls downfield, but especially in these playoffs, he's made some big catches for them on some intermediate routes that haven't necessarily been part of his repertoire to this point.
Bob, let's look to the AFC Championship game on Sunday in Denver. Obviously, the Bo Nix injury is a big part of this. I'd be curious to know how this game, in terms of who was favored, would look if he were in the mix, but he's not. And so with that, I would think comes from the outside a lot of pressure on New England with the assumption that, look, you're playing a backup quarterback, go handle your business. I imagine that some of that goes away when Nick Foles is tweeting Denver fans saying, hey, all hope is not lost.
Well, it's been amazing because you're absolutely right. I think the whole perception of this team a couple of weeks ago was if they make a nice run in the playoffs, that's great. The next step is next year, and we'll enjoy this while it lasted. But now, particularly because of the situation the Broncos are in with the injury to Nix and with Jarrett Stidham, a quarterback who sat here in New England for the most part behind Brady and Cam Newton for a year in 2020 before he was traded out to Vegas. Now the perception is, well, this is no longer house money they're playing with. They got to win this game, and they should win this game. And the odds makers obviously have reflected that thinking too with the line that's established. But I think the other part of it is on the flip side is the Patriots know Jarrett Stidham. The organization does, at least. Josh McDaniels does. Mike Vrabel does. They made a play for him in the offseason. They tried to sign him in the offseason. And, he decided to stick with Denver. Sean Payton wanted him badly enough to continue to extend him after a 2-year deal that expired for the Broncos. He's a guy that, isn't the runner that Nix is, but he's by no means is he a statue. So maybe the Broncos won't have as many design runs in this game. But I think they, with Sean Payton's reputation as a play caller and a schemer, I think the Broncos still are on a real solid spot home with that defense. The Patriots going out there, they're going to travel on Saturday. Although they've been 8-0 on the road, I think this is going to be a real struggle. I think this is another one of those games that, like so many of these playoff games heretofore, comes down to who has it last, or at least who doesn't make that last critical mistake. And Stidham is going to make some plays, and the Patriots, I think, have a lot of respect for him. Can they keep the Denver defense, off of Drake May? They've had some problems protecting him in this postseason, but also can they force Stidham into the one or two mistakes that you might expect of him in this spot? First game, throwing a pass since 2023. So we'll see how it turns out. I think it's going to be a much closer game than a lot of people around here expect.
What has been the secret to this defense, which has 5 takeaways in the 2 games in the playoffs? They did not have a stretch where they had 5 takeaways in 2 games, other than, if you count that Pittsburgh game, which somehow they lost with 5 takeaways in that game. I'm sorry, that was the turnovers on the offense. I'm saying, but they have 6 takeaways here defensively, which is the best stretch in 2 games for them. What have they been able to do that's allowed them to do that and kind of step up and it's kind of gone really from the end of the season, 2-1, 2-1, 5, the last 5 games after really kind of a big lull in the middle of the season in terms of that defense taking the football away?
Yeah, they went through a stretch where they didn't have Milton Williams relatively late in the year and through the end of the regular season for the most part. I think came back for week 18. They didn't have Robert Spillane for a stretch. So they were without really, their top defensive player up front, and then their leading tackler at that second level, the linebacker, the captain of their defense. And their run defense suffered, certainly. They had been a team that hadn't allowed a back to run for 50 yards through the first 9 games of the season. And then from week 10 in Tampa Bay on, they really struggled against the run to the conclusion of the regular season. So I think they shore that up. That's where you begin. And they forced the Chargers, who were without Hampton. He played 2 snaps, their leading ball carrier. So they really didn't have any semblance of a running game. And the Texans with March tried to get it going, but the Patriots shut them down and were able to force the Texans to play one-dimensionally. And they've dialed up a lot of pressure, a lot more blitzing since week 14 of the regular season. It's been about a 45% blitz rate through these first 2 playoff games. And in concert with that, as opposed to what we saw for most of the season, which was a departure from past Patriots defenses when Belichick was here, we would see the Patriots almost exclusively play man-to-man, or at least with a heavy dose of man-to-man from game to game. This year was a lot more mixed coverages, but I think what they've done with the pressure, they've really relied more on Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis. And then between them, Marcus Jones has really developed into a terrific defensive player. He often gets overlooked, I think, as a defender because of how good he is as a punt returner, as a second-team All-Pro. But he had the pick 6 against the Texans, and he's just been on the spot making a lot of plays for them throughout the latter part of this season especially.
Bob, our excellent boss, the great Jason Gibbs, does a segment. We do it every Monday, or I can't remember if it's Monday or Tuesday in the playoffs, where we listen to the home radio calls from the games.
Oh, yeah.
So the local radio calls of the games. Your guys's are our favorites. They are so good. It's so fun to listen to. Enjoy the ride. Continued good fortune to you guys as hopefully you get back to that Super Bowl.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. All the best to you. And you know, look, I've got family who are Browns diehards. I had such great respect for Jim when he was calling the games.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know Andrew and Nathan, you guys do a fantastic job as well. It's always a pleasure to talk with you guys. And I hope you have a great offseason. And the Browns are where they belong, where the fans deserve in Northeast Ohio. And I say that as a Dayton guy. Went to school with a lot of Clevelanders. So appreciate being with you guys very much.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Bob. Take care. There he goes. One of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best in the business. He will be on the call out in Denver for the AFC Championship game on. Isn't that crazy? Like, there had to be moments when they were in, like, the Cam Newton, Mac Jones, like, are we now ever going to get back? And then it's like 5 years.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy how fortunate.
Good for them, though. And it's funny. Here's the other thing, though, that I can tell you with a 100% certainty because, and now some people might push back on this and be like, well, then they're not real fans. But there is a big percentage of Patriots fans that in that lull were Bucs fans because of Brady.
Yes.
And now they're back with the Patriots because
That's 100%. Yeah.
So part of that lull involved them also winning another Super Bowl
For Brady.
I
think that's probably why Mike has been such an elixir there because he kind of was the salve that brought all that together.
Right.
Like
totally.
he brought it back, and then so he played for Belichick. He loves Brady, like all of that. Like it kind of healed all of it.
Him and Drake May being good.
For sure. And he don't take that job without Drake.
Of course not. Of course not.
You need that quarterback, man. That's how you get
Turns
those
out
guys.
it's quite important. Turns out it's quite
important.
Yeah.
I mean, how many championships has the city of Boston had in the last 25 years? Dozens? Like, I'm not kidding. 6 Super Bowls, 2 NBAs.
And you can count the Bucs Super Bowl
8.
for a lot of them. I can tell you.
3 Red Sox World Series. The Bruins won at least 1, maybe 2.
It's too many. Whatever it is too many for one reason.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It really is. It's way too much.
Nobody needs all that.
We'll attempt to guess the scores, go around some of the other things happening in the league coming up next. And a reminder, a mailbag is open for your perusement. We will do so at 4 o'clock. Get your questions into Gibby at Browns_Daily. You can also do so in the YouTube chat. Either one of those work. We will get to those coming up at 4 o'clock. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Fun to your fandom with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Download today, get 50 back in bonus bets. You place that first wager of 10 or more. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time now to play a little game we like to call Guess the Scores.
By the way, before you start that,
Sure.
the city of Boston since 2000 has won 13 major championships.
So which ones did I miss? I had the
6
6 Super Bowls.
There you go.
3 Red Sox.
4 Red Sox.
4 Red Sox, so 10. 2 for the Celtics is 12, and 1 Bruin.
You got it.
So I missed the one. I thought the Red Sox won 3, and they've won 4.
2004, 2007, 2013, and 2018.
Good Lord.
I feel no sympathy for that city in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Regarding anything. I still hate their
My
fans.
God. That's a lot of winning. That is a lot of winning. All right, we've got 2 of them. We will start in the American Football Conference, and we will start at 3 o'clock. It is New England at Denver. It is a Nance Romo Wolfson affair. The get-in price is just under $400.
Denver's finally going to have a real cold weather game. I think it's like 17 there on Sunday.
Is it, finally?
Yeah.
17 is going to seem balmy here in a little few days.
The question is, will we even have it? Will all internet be down all over Northeast Ohio because of what's coming Saturday?
I hope not, because that is my source of entertainment.
Saving grace.
That's my source of entertainment, yeah.
That's all I got.
Yep.
It's a tremendous question.
Do you guys think there's any chance that this is it for Romo?
It wouldn't surprise me. I hope that he's okay. I hope that nothing's going on with him serious. He just
Health-wise,
he just doesn't look
Nothing seems right.
right.
What?
No. And there's a
is
lot
his
of people
contract
starting
up?
to talk about it
Yeah.
now. So I wonder, like, Nance hears all that. Remember, like, the end with Sims wasn't great.
No. I'll never forget because when I was working for CBS, I got to go to their broadcast conference or whatever, and Nance put together this unbelievable video of Sims. Like, they found these clips of him doing these old, like, workout videos in tube socks and put this whole thing. And it was good and then also hysterical body bagging him, and it was great. That's when they were still together. But that was a good.
Is Romo's contract up?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just, like, if you're CBS and you're not I don't know what his contract is. I don't have anything, but, like, anything's possible, right? If you want to write a big enough check. And I just wonder, like, it's so much bad pub for him.
Yeah.
And his performance just isn't up to the level of the others that are doing this anymore.
Well, and they don't have Charles to even go back in the number 2 spot, right? Because isn't Charles taking over SEC?
Correct.
He's NBC. He's doing college football at NBC. Or
No,
CBS.
CBS.
Yep.
CBS, right.
3:30.
But he's like the
3:30
new
window. Yeah, sorry.
big SEC game guy.
Yeah, he's replacing Gary
Danielson.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Romo's deal set to run through 2030.
Then no. He's not going anywhere.
Unless you're reassigning him to a different group.
Could put him on the desk.
Put J.J. Watt up to 1.
JJ's good.
Honestly, they should look at the Hoff. The Hoff would be great.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, the Hoff's got 60 enterprises, though,
He does.
including a meat conglomerate. He's the king of meats.
He's the king of meats. It's unbelievable.
I mean, how many? He's got a lot going on.
He's unbelievable. Yes.
He really is.
Yes, he does.
Pats at Broncos.
So I think with Knicks, this is Broncos -3, and I think it's I think it's worth about a touchdown. I'm gonna go Patriots -4.
Is that just 4?
Well, yeah, it has to be because we
And a
totally
half.
bloated. No, lies. No. Wave it off. Bishop, come on.
Let's give you a nice long
He's
pause.
looking at me with just the biggest blank-eating grin.
Oh,
You're
I can
rubbing
see him
your-
too.
You're rubbing
We're
your
on
head
the
like,
Zoom
"Are you
together.
Sure, like that's
Yeah, no,
is it just
it worked.
for-"
I got it. We got there.
Close.
Yeah. Listen, in the
Just
old way,
4?
I'm within a half a point. That's fine. I'll take it.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think you think I'm with you? I think this would have been like 3.5 Buffalo, especially or Denver, especially the way that New England has played in the first two rounds. Their offense. Yeah, I think it would have been. It just sucks for Denver.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Now maybe
don't
this
have
guy
any-
Stidham. Like, what more could you ask for? You're a backup quarterback, and you get the opportunity to go win the Super Bowl. Like, what more could you ask for? Now, Nick Foles, when he did it, had already had unbelievable seasons. And he had the year where he had 27 touchdowns and 2 picks with Chip Kelly. Like, it wasn't like he was a jabroni on the corner.
He also did, his first start wasn't the NFC Championship game. Like Wentz
right.
like week 12.
Yeah, against the Rams. I remember that. It was against the Rams and ACL, and he was on his way to being honestly, Carson Wentz was going to be the MVP that season.
He was the MVP favorite. That's an incredible. I mean, there's a Derek Rosian fall there, with just never
again.
Never got back. All right,
I'm pretty sure wasn't that just his second season in the league?
It was. Yep, it was.
He started his career against us week 1 of 2016.
The consensus was that he was MVP fast track and he was substantially better than Goff. 2 year and a half in. I mean, that was it. He was going to win the MVP.
We rush to snap judgments in this world.
Oh, you don't say. 6:30 NFC Championship game. Rams at Seahawks. This is your Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi. The get-in price here, $6.56. Rams at Seahawks.
Rams.
Let's see what the forecast is for
at
that one.
Seahawks.
At least there's not really any weather in Denver. It's just going to be cold.
So this game was played in Week 16. Rams at Seahawks.
Oh, 43 degrees.
Yeah, balmy.
Low of 32? Come on.
Rams at Seahawks was played in Week 16. It was Seattle -1.5.
I think the fat kicker or the thicker kicker, whatever they call him,
The
missed
fat
like a PAT.
Mevis.
Yeah, but like Seattle won in overtime.
I can't believe they
one.
haven't had somebody be like, shut up, Mevis. I can't believe they haven't turned him into Mevis and Butthead.
Somebody not
I
done
can't
that?
believe it. I'm all about it. He should come out with like his shirt over his head. I am Cornholio.
They really should.
Yeah.
You do a good one right there. That was really nailed.
Thank you. Yeah,
That's very good.
I loved Beavis.
While you're thinking of the scores, I want you to just marinate on this from Field Yates from a couple of days ago. The Rams and Seahawks split their season series 1 game apiece. The points scored in those games: Rams 58, Seahawks 57.
1.
Total yards in the 2 games: Rams 830, Seahawks 829.
1. Yeah, pretty even. So that might lead.
That's crazy.
That might lead some to think that it should be a pick'em. I am going to go. I think from 1.5 in Week 16 in a game that the Rams lost.
Lost.
They lost that one.
Yes.
I think it's going the other way. The Rams were blowing them out, right? And then the Seahawks made a crazy comeback and ended up winning on I think a pass to the tight end late in the game. Anyhow, I think the line will be bigger this time for Seattle, but I don't think they're going to go all the way to 3. Give me the Seahawks -2.5.
Let's go. Let's go.
That's back-to-back weeks, 50% exactos. That's a win, dog.
Let's go.
That's a win, dog.
It's a win, dog.
That's a win.
It's a win.
It's 3 straight days of dog.
So let me tell you. No, I think only 2. Is it 3 straight?
Oh, it's 3 straight. We're keeping track. There'll be a new number added to that.
That's
board
from
up there.
Mike and the Mad Dog. That's a win,
dog.
That's a win, dog. What did I say? That's a catch, dog. Yeah, that's a catch, dog.
Bo said one the next day. Bo said one
Oh,
yesterday.
good. Yeah, well, we're hot. We're hot. We're in sync. We're
That's
simpatico.
3 in a row, kids.
So I was watching, as I do with young Master Luca in the mornings. We get a little Good Morning Football in. On Thursdays, they do a trivia segment. And one of the trivia questions was, what Seattle Seahawk player has the most career touchdowns against the Rams? And it's a 4-part multiple choice. I'll just give you 3 because I only remember 3 of them. But you had Marshawn Lynch. You had Sean Alexander. And you had Doug Baldwin, believe it or not. Doug Baldwin was a very productive player.
My hunch is it would be that one.
It is actually Sean Alexander.
Okay.
Doug Baldwin, yes. And I didn't remember D, which was something else.
Would lead me to believe that it was Baldwin, yeah.
I was trying to go in I think I went in the order. I don't remember. Anyway. So they're showing, and listen, that's when I was full-fledged fantasy guy. Mm-hmm. Sean Alexander's heyday. He had that Monday night game where he won and scored 100 million points. It was great. So they then show a bunch of Sean Alexander highlights. And I remembered how, what he looked like. He was great. He was Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, right.
And it was just a stud.
Yep.
But when you watch him now compared to how running backs run now, there were a couple of things that stood out to me. Number one, he just looked bigger. He just looked huge. Mm-hmm. And part of that is because the jerseys back then, the sleeves would hang, shoulder pads were bigger. He had elbow pads on both arms. He was very geared up.
Yes.
The other thing about it was he ran somewhat upright and also looked like he was moving at 50% speed the whole time.
Yes.
He wasn't someone who appeared fast to the eye, and then I'm watching highlight after highlight as he is just running away from everybody, looking like he's running in slow motion. In fact, some of the people who are running after him appear to be running fast, and he's still running away from them. Yeah. And he runs through arms like it was nothing. But they showed, the highlights, I'm just he was so good, but watching it, I'm it looks like he's kind of running in sand, and yet he's somehow running away. Some people just look fast. He did not look fast. He just was fast.
Yeah.
He was so good, though. His stretch of...
He was.
His peak of his power stretch was... I'm pretty sure he had a season, and I'm pulling it up right now, but before I pull it up, I'm going to say it. I'm pretty sure he had a season where he scored 28 rushing touchdowns.
It's a lot.
I think you're right.
It sounds... 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, 2005 MVP. So not in the Hall of Fame.
27 touchdowns.
27. It was 28 total. It was 28 total.
Yeah.
He was on. That was the following year. He was on the cover of Madden.
Yeah,
Dude, do his 5 years here.
Yeah.
Do you have it up?
Yeah, 1,300.
How this isn't a Hall of Famer.
This should be a Hall of Famer, and then I'll do the total yards. I'll do the and then you'll see a pattern here. But for a 5-year stretch, and first of all, he's only a 3-time Pro Bowler, a 1-time All-Pro. How is he not a Pro Bowler in 2001? He runs for 1,318 yards, 14 touchdowns. Led the league, by the way, 14 touchdowns. 343 receiving, 2 more touchdowns. So that's 1,661. And back then, all 16-game seasons, 1,661 total and 16 touchdowns. So he's averaging 100 total yards and a touchdown a game.
What year was that?
2001. 2002, he goes for 1,175 and 16 on the ground. 59 catches, 460, and 2 as a receiver. So 1,635 and 18 total touchdowns.
He gets nothing, no recognition.
Next year.
He's not even a Pro Bowler.
Nothing. Either of those 2 seasons.
Nothing.
Bubkiss. Go ahead, give it.
2001 All-Pro team at running back. Marshall Falk.
Yeah.
Curtis Martin. Priest Holmes.
Yeah.
Second team was Amon Green.
What?
This is why, though, the All-Pro thing at running back and quarterback is really
so hard.
tricky.
Yeah. But he should give this guy a Pro Bowl nod.
He should have been Pro Bowler, though. My God.
He finally makes a Pro Bowl the next year when he runs for 1,435 and 14 and has 295 and 2 receiving, giving him 1,730 and 16 again. So 3 straight years, he is better than 100 total yards a game and a touchdown per game.
2002 All-Pro team.
Yep.
Priest Holmes.
Yeah, Holmes was electric.
Ricky Williams. Tiki Barber.
He got robbed. Him and
Deuce
Priest Holmes were on their
McAllister.
own level. Those guys are not touching his numbers. No way.
Second team was LT and Fred Beasley of the 49ers.
That's outrageous. That's preposterous is what that is. That is a preposterous scenario that you have just laid out for me.
That's
all right. Then in 2004, 1696 and 16 on the ground, 170 and 4. He has 1866 and leads the league with 20 total touchdowns. And then the following year, he's the MVP. He runs for 1880, which leads the league. 27 touchdowns on the ground, career high 5.1 yards a carry. Adds in this year, they don't even bother throwing him the ball. They're like, just hand it to him. 15 catches for 78 and a touchdown. So he finishes with 1958 and 28 total touchdowns. So for a 5-year period, that guy gave you more than 100 total yards and a touchdown a game for 5 years, which if you do the math really quickly, which I will, 80 straight games, that man averaged 100 total yards and a touchdown per game. In fact, better than that. Better than that.
Come on.
Way better than that
It's
in the
stunning.
touchdowns. Way better.
Yeah, it's a hell of a run. And there were a
Why
bunch
is he
of those
not
guys
the
that had
MVP?
those little mini.
Yeah.
I know it.
Why is he on the
Crazy.
Hall of Fame?
By the way, you listen to 850 WKNR, ESPN Cleveland, a good Karma brand station. We'll open up the mailbag coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns friends, Barking Backers, official dog fan club of the Cleveland Browns, is here to get your pup in on the action. Enjoy exclusive gear, tail wagging events, and more made for just Browns dogs. Memberships are available now, so fetch yours today or gift one to a furry friend at barkingbackers.com. Time to open up that mailbag on a Thursday edition. You can get your questions, if you haven't yet, to Gibbe at Browns_Daily, or who's monitoring the YouTube chat? Is that Dr. J or the G-Man?
It's I would say it's by committee. Currently,
Okay,
G-Man's
fair.
headed that direction.
All right, very good, very good.
Let's see. We'll start off with a little Twitter action. Looking through CLE fan in Chicago. Burner check-in from the soon-to-be minus 30-degree misery of Chicago. Shout out. 2 things. When are we getting the overdue Gibby cam? We have one. I just choose not to use it. Just so we're clear. More importantly, who is your ideal dead or alive foursome and what course are you playing? I feel like we've done this before, but dead or alive maybe adds a little wrinkle.
Ours are going to be very different just because of your golf prowess. So, like, I wouldn't want to play with Tiger Woods at all. I would feel like I would be a hindrance to his day. So I would want no part of that. You probably heard about this a lot more than me. I know LD is going to be on yours. I assume Tiger would be on yours. Who are those two on it?
Yeah, I got me, Tiger, and Larry. Those were my first 3 automatics. I wrote down a couple names. I wrote down John Daly because I think he would be just so fun to golf with. And then I just wrote down this one that just popped into my head because given what my profession and what I do, I feel like Jim Nantz would be a heck of a lot of fun to play around a golf with. Me, Tiger, Larry, and Jim Nantz. And then Nantz could like commentate a couple shots that you hit. If you hit a really good one, he could be like, well, this is it, isn't it? He did that for one of my buddies. So one of my buddies has Pat Irvine, who was the soon to be turning 40 years old. He was the Pats fan who totally went with Brady and now is totally back with the Pats. So he's had like really no downtime, which has been great for him. But he had a buddy of his was at a wedding with Nantz, and they got Nantz to record like him at 18 at Augusta. And Nantz started with, he's like, well, this is it, isn't it? 15 feet to win the Masters, and like goes in this whole spiel, and it's like a minute and a half, and it's perfect. It's perfect.
It is.
So I think that's what I'm going with right now. Me, Tiger, Larry, and Jim Nantz, and I'm going to have, just because we said dead or alive, and I can include this in there, Zago's going to be on my bag. Barking out rules.
There was
rules and fractions at everybody else. It'll be great. Zago and Larry David together could just be, the fireworks could be off the charts.
There was a Gabby something or other who I know you enjoyed her sense of humor. I thought maybe she would be on your bag.
Well, yeah, she is one of the great comedians of our time, one of the great performers.
That's what
But not,
yeah, really
no,
is.
not in this.
It's gotta be,
not making it here.
I think it's, for me, the place to play would be Cyprus.
Cyprus? So,
because I love Monterey. I love that area.
Yeah. Well, Nantz would show us, and we could hang at Nantz's
and he would know the
house.
way around. And that's like the one. That in Pine Valley, like, I just don't know that there's any. I don't know a single person who's ever played Cypress. Like,
I know.
I think they're. Well, you would.
I am jealous of quite a great many few who have played Cypress and Pine Valley.
You have a great many who've
Great
played
many,
Cypress?
yeah. Well, I mean,
Really?
to me,
I
a
don't
great
know a
many
single.
means more than 5.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know any.
The one that I don't know more than 5 who have played is Augusta.
So I know more than 5 who have played Augusta. Might just been because I was in the South.
Yeah.
Could have been. But I feel like Augusta is more doable. I think that's. I mean, you're as close now as you ever could be to playing any of those things.
That is true.
But like,
Yes, that is
but
true.
the reality is that even
As a guest
sure, well, of course, yeah.
of a particular
But
individual.
like, from the standpoint of like, I just don't know. I can't see any scenario how I could ever play Cypress any other way. And I think that vista is the most stunning vista.
Sure, of
probably
course.
in golf.
Yeah. That would be.
Like, if you got a good day on the Monterey Peninsula, I think that's
perfect.
pretty damn close to heaven.
Yeah, perfect. I think you're probably right. I think that's probably the number one choice.
Love a dog today. Choose one, abandon the other forever. Appetizers v. desserts.
This is going to be a controversial take.
I can only have one for the rest of my life. I can only have appetizers or desserts.
Yes.
That is not even, appetizers, not even a question. 0%.
You throw them out or you keep them?
Keeping them. I love appetizers. I could do a dinner
I
of
could
nothing
totally
but
do without
appetizers.
I could do without them. Like, just get to the salad, the soups. Let's go. I'm not a big app guy.
So let me ask you a question, because this is funny
Yeah.
to me. Not what you said, but you'll understand why. I would imagine growing up like me,
Yeah.
like apps were not a part of it. We didn't go to dinner and then have apps.
Oh, God.
And then have our meals.
No.
It was
I would dare any of me or my two brothers to sit down at any restaurant that we ever went to as a kid
Yeah.
and say, "Can I get an app?
Hey, can we start with
How
the
about some
shrimp
cheese
cocktail?
sticks?
Yeah, can we start? Yeah.
How about go to hell?"
Yeah, 100%.
You're not getting an
Yeah, there
app.
were no apps. So it's funny. So when
Now, there wasn't dessert either. Never.
Spumoni,
For you, never for me.
but I didn't like spumoni.
I understand that, but I never had a dessert option either. So to me, apps and dessert,
Yeah, I never really had
Off
dessert
limits.
other than if it was in Ekaspari's and there was spumoni. But what I wanted to do was go across the street to the ice cream shop where I get the flavor of ice cream that I wanted. It was right there for like $1.
right
Right across the street. You
Yep.
could see it from the restaurant. And instead, I had to watch the man drink his
No.
coffee.
yeah.
So, no. So, anyway, when I was introduced to Miss K's family and I became a part of their family and my dining, I love apps. So I think
they're
once
good.
once I got the freedom of, I can have these apps now. Like there's a reason they're first, and there's a bunch of choices, and they all sound great. Shrimp
Yeah.
cocktail, and you want a little ahi tuna? Sure. How about a
But I
little
could just order those as my meal.
lobster escargot? Absolutely, sign me up. Would I like
Yeah.
a dumpling? You know I'd like a dumpling. So I love apps. So like her family, nobody ever got apps. So I come in like an appetizer tornado, and I'm like, wait a second. We were just sitting down ordering entree. We haven't even ordered apps. And now Jack Hay in particular, big fan of apps. Miss K loves apps. We go. There's a lot of times where Miss K and I will go to dinner and we'll get a bunch of apps and then like split an entree later on. Sometimes we don't even eat entree. We just do all apps,
Amen.
which they
Okay,
call
but I
in
think
Spain. They
that's-
call that tapas.
So I love that, but I just consider that a meal.
Yeah, that's a meal
Like,
of
that's
apps.
just a meal to me. Like
small
that's not,
plates.
I don't. Yeah.
But I like to
So-
go like when we finally do bust through this glass barrier betwixt us, and we have meals of food together. Like if you come to my house, like we're gonna have like shrimp cocktail and some crab cakes while we're sitting around, getting ready.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna
Okay.
have the steak and the sides and the Caesar salad. Like there's gonna be an appetizer
There will be an
section
app in there.
Yeah. Now her dad loves a jalapeno popper. Loves a popper.
Loves them.
He loves a popper, so we'll get him some poppers.
More from the mailbag. Trey Carey, I've been listening for 7 years. I still don't know what the orange drink that Nathan has. What is it?
Excuse me?
I don't know the answer to this either. What
Was he
orange
talking about when
drink?
I said
No,
like
it's just this
the soda that I
Orange
haven't?
pop.
I mean, I
but
love a
it's
little Sunkist or a Fanta.
I do, but I think what he's talking about is Olipop, which is those like
what he's talking about?
I think that's what he's talking because I mentioned that the other day. Like I don't really drink soda anymore, but I will have an Olipop, which is like the healthy
delight.
probiotic soda. It's like probiotics,
dude.
good for you. It's like 40 calories. It's not really soda, but let me tell you something.
It's a delight.
It tastes great. Like
It's unbelievable.
you could tell me that was full throttle orange soda, and I'd believe you. And I'm
They have an
helping out
orange
my
cream
gut.
one that's
Oh,
unbelievable.
the orange cream!
That
It's
thing
like
is
having a
delight.
dreamsicle. It's like having
it's
a bite of a
dessert in a
dreamsicle.
bottle.
Oh, it really is. I have it sometimes. I'll have that. Like
do I.
I can have a can of the dreamsicle last
Mm-hmm.
me for like a week, and I'll just like a sip before bed, like one sip, and that's all I need. Just that taste. Oh, it's a
Your
delight.
discipline is incredible on that.
It's
You
a
did that
delight.
with that bananas
Yeah.
Foster ice
They have
cream,
a
too.
banana
It's always-
soda that I have to be in the exact right mood for.
I tried it. It didn't take.
Yeah, which means I haven't had. It's not in my fridge currently. But the creamsicle always is. And it's
root
weird.
beer's
I'm not a
incredible.
strawberry soda person. So because they have a strawberries and cream one too that I would imagine how could it be strawberries cream together? How could it be bad? But
Sure.
Especially as a child, I was allowed dessert at my nanny's and but I was allowed one thing, and gosh darn it was great, which was Haagen-Dazs vanilla and Haagen-Dazs raspberry sorbet together in one bowl, and it was a delight.
There you go.
That's
that was
nice.
good.
That's a treat.
Oh yeah.
Bobby time.
Bobby!
You had to fight one animal roughly your size once a year to keep your current lifestyle. What animal are you choosing? How confident are you really? This is amazing.
Golden Retriever, very confident.
Given your recent situations?
Very confident.
There you go.
No problem.
What is he talking about?
You have to fight one animal to the death that's roughly your size.
Well, I don't know if it doesn't
I
say
don't think
death.
I don't think a golden retriever is going to be your size. You're a big man.
Buddy Garrity's, if you put him on his hinds.
On his haunches?
The arms
he's
come to
pretty
the top.
close.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, he's
good enough
about
by
5.
me.
He's not all the way there, but he's about 5'8".
All right.
Bet.
I would unfortunately, I hate to do this to my buddy the cook, but his dog Ruby would be who I would choose because she can stand up and put her paws on my shoulders. I'm convinced there's a human
Fair
being
game, then.
wearing a dog costume in there because she has human eyes. It's very odd, and is a wonderful dog, but smoker, no problem. She hasn't. I don't
What's
think
the breed?
I don't think she has a bad bone in her body. She's some type of a doodle something because she's got that fur, but she's
curly.
Yeah.
If society suddenly decided one mundane task was now an Olympic sport, what are you absolutely meddling in?
I'll tell you what. I think I can clean granite. I'm a countertop cleaning beast. You give me a bottle of a lemon-flavored Lysol and some paper towels, and I think I'm going to do really good work.
I don't know why you have flavored. What are you talking about? Scented?
Yeah, scented.
All right. What are you sucking it down in
No, it's
between?
flavored. You know what I meant.
What are you doing? I actually, we didn't. We needed a little clarity in here.
You knew what I
Why do
meant.
you think
The
he's always in
G-Man
such
was
a
the
great
first
mood?
one to question it.
Yeah, that's
Stuff
right.
and Lysol.
Exactly.
I am incredible. I couldn't think of anything. The first thing that popped into my head, I am incredibly proficient at wrapping with athletic tape the boys' lacrosse sticks.
How about
I can
it?
do it right on the money in about 30 seconds.
Mowing a lawn, I would never
got it
be in
down.
that. That'd be Gibbe's event. I feel like Gibbe could mow a lawn with the best of them.
Oh, I think.
Yeah,
I
sitting
think in
up there.
another life, he's like one of those YouTube guys who mows patterns.
Yeah, just has a couple of frosty ales and just.
Yeah.
By the way, I was thinking about this earlier when I was talking about Nani and the dessert that I was able to have there. Do you think our kids and then their kids will have any idea what it's like to go to their grandparents' house and be like, why are there all these butterscotches?
Oh, God, no. Hard candy, you mean?
Yeah, hard candy,
Like
the
the hard
butterscotch,
candy.
and the bright yellow wrapper. Then we evolved to Werther's original, but I'm talking about the original one in that
The original
yellow
butterscotch.
paper.
Yes.
The
And
Brock.
that's all they were. That there were billions of them, and then the strawberries in the thing where it had the little seeds, that strawberry
Yeah.
wrapper that looked
Oh,
like
I
strawberry.
love those.
Those were good,
Those were the
but
real deal.
those are gone.
There was also the little root beer ones.
That was not for me. Not for me.
The
That'll
little
be
root
my
beer
house
ones,
in the
too.
future.
The beer
That'll be
barrels?
my house.
Beer
Like-
barrels, yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Here's
go.
the thing that's
Good job,
amazing
G-Man.
about that. They were typically housed in some sort of crystal.
Always,
as
yep.
If, As if it was gold.
Yeah,
As if here is a nugget of gold that you can have. This
Yeah, they're in
hard candy
beautiful
is to be
bowls.
cherished.
Yeah, they're beautiful
Yes.
crystal bowls. Yeah, could have been a Tiffany
Beautiful.
crystal bowl. You don't know.
Beautiful.
What I had just seen on that was on the Hunt for Red October, the guy who plays the U.S. Secretary of Defense has one of those crystal things full of hard candy.
Yeah.
And when the Russian guy comes in to talk about the lost sub, he's sucking one down.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I just thought, well, that's something that's lost.
But that's such
over.
a
We don't
buy.
have it
Like
anymore.
I would imagine all of our grandparents had those, right?
Always.
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 Just gone.
You think that's just Depression era? Like they just couldn't have candy, and so then they just wanted it.
I don't know, but it feels like there was the generation above us were like conscientious objectors to it.
Seems like it because they're a bunch of cruds.
Yeah,
It seems like to me.
no
on all
joy in a
fronts.
butterscotch. It looked like it was ensconced in gold. I mean, that paper looked
did.
like it was gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good job on the mailbag, kids. Benjamin Allbright going to join us coming up next.
Oh, baby.
You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
All right, welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, an official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly. We're going to head back out on the Twisted Tea Hotline, presented by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, an official sponsor of the Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland, and we're going to be joined by, friend of the program, Ben Albright, NFL insider at KOA Colorado, joining the show. Ben, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourselves?
I'm doing great. Always good to talk to you. We'll be seeing you down in Indy shortly, which will be a treat as it always is. But let me just start here. What's the mood in Denver? You win a game, you beat the Bills, it's jubilant. We're going to the AFC Championship game. We're the number 1 seed, and then Sean Payton goes to the podium and says, "Hey, Bo Nix broke his foot. He's out for the season." What's kind of what's the temperature there right now?
I would say kind of surreal. I mean, it feels surreal, I think, to the fan base to be here either way, and then to go from the high of beating the Buffalo Bills after what happened against the Bills last year, to the low of losing Bo Nix for the remainder of it in a span of moments was pretty jarring. I will say, though, the fan base has really done a great job kind of rallying behind the idea of Jarrett Stidham, who's the drop-off there isn't as big as people think it is. But the fan base has really kind of glommed onto it. There's a whole meme where everybody's changed their profile pictures to Jarrett Stidham and all that kind of stuff. And, they're having some fun with it and kind of seeing where it can go.
How's Bo Nix doing? Like, not physically, but just this has got to be devastating for him. Such a competitor, such a tough kid, and brought here to win, and 2 games away from winning the whole thing, 1 game away from going to the Super Bowl. I'd imagine this got to be tough on him.
Yeah, pretty tough. I mean, he had his surgery on Tuesday, flew down to Alabama, then came back that night, and he's just been kind of trying to be supportive of the team as a whole. But people close to him say he's kind of bitter about the fact that he's. Yeah, I mean, you got everything there, and now you're out, and you got to come back next year and do it. He's happy for his guys, but he kind of wants to be out there leading them.
What did you make of the calls in that game, and obviously the catch, catch, interception, some of the PIs that obviously have drawn a lot of scrutiny around the football world?
Well, first of all, the interception's officiated correctly. You have to complete the process of the catch for anything else to count, and you can clearly see from the one angle that the ball's moving throughout the entire process. You didn't complete the process of the catch, so that's an interception. Now, if Buffalo fans want to complain about those PIs or lack of them from the other side, hey, I'm here for that discussion. That second PI looked like PI. That first one, I think we got away with one on that first one.
It's tough being honest. In the circumstance. Tough in the circumstance.
Yeah, and then you're talking about a situation where the Broncos, the most penalized defense in the league, didn't get any in-ball penalties the entire game. I mean, I think Broncos fans will definitely take that, but I think we're also kind of looking at this like I think we got away with a few.
Now that game and that call on the interception, I know you can't slow it down. I could see how it is a catch. I just think that's a tough spot. That is a very, very difficult play for officials to officiate and to have an impact. Like, that is a game-changing play. If that's a catch, they probably win the game. The Broncos season's over. It's not a catch. It's an interception. Broncos now, we know, are going on. What did you make? Because you obviously the Broncos, but you are very plugged into the whole league. I got to get your take on this. McDermott out, being promoted, and then a press conference that is one for the ages.
Yeah, I mean, a disaster class, honestly. It's funny how you get the owner there talking about how that was poorly officiated, but also said the result of the game is the reason that he fired McDermott. And I'm like, okay, so you're saying that you make decisions based on what you think is a bad call, and then you get the presser where they're blaming the coach for drafting Keon Coleman. Meanwhile, we've got the tape from the combine from the documentary they filmed where he's admitting he's happy that he ran the slow 40 because that's his guy. And it's just a disaster there in Buffalo right now. It's interesting because I don't think you fire somebody that late in the process. I mean, everybody else had a 2-week jump on them, right? Yep. I don't think you fire somebody that late in the process unless you've either got a handshake agreement with somebody or you're planning on promoting from within, like a Joe Brady or something. So I would not be surprised to see Dable or Brady ultimately wind up with that job.
Which makes sense because I would imagine somebody who didn't have any kind of ties or experience in that organization would have seen that press conference and the structure that they have laid out that, yes, you will be reporting to Bean, that that might not be as appealing to other candidates as maybe it was prior to that press conference.
Well, yeah, it's a comedy show at this point. I mean, Brandon Bean, Billy Bean, Mr. Bean, doesn't matter. I wouldn't want to be reporting to that.
Mr. Bean is a tremendous comedian. All right, let's talk now about this matchup. You know, this is a game that I think we were going through. We play a thing called guess the lines here, where I think had Bo Nix been the starting quarterback, that the Broncos are favored in this game. They're obviously 4.5-point underdogs in this one. How do you see them matching up with New England, and what are in your minds the keys to determining the outcome here?
Well, I think they match up pretty well, to be honest with you. New England is very good at home. They're much, much worse on the road, which, I mean, to be fair, most teams are, but they're much, much worse on the road. You look at the yard per play differential, and they are much, much worse on the road. I think the Broncos match up pretty well, both offensively and defensively. I think the real key to this game is going to be how much pressure the Broncos can get on Drake May, and they are the highest sacking team in the league, and Will Campbell looks very, very beatable. And then the other side of that is how clean they can play with Jarrett Stidham. Just don't turn it over. Stidham's going to take a few more sacks than Bo. You lose a little bit of mobility, but I've seen him before. He can run this offense, and outside they're going to have to hand it off to the running back, but for the rushing yards. But otherwise, just don't turn it over. If you don't turn it over, I think the Broncos can win this thing. And if I'm being completely transparent with you, I've got to take it on the Broncos money line. So.
Putting his money where his mouth is. Ben Albright, our guest right here. He's back in the Broncos. What is Stidham? I know he's kind of a little bit more of a gunslinger maybe than Bo Nix. What does he bring?
Well, I mean, he's been around a long time. He obviously went Patriots and Raiders with Josh McDaniels, so he knows the opposing offense. But he's been with Sean Payton for 3 years here. He played 2 games, the last 2 games of the season when Russell Wilson got benched in that inaugural season. We've seen him in the preseason. I've seen him at practice. He's willing to hang in there and let stuff develop a little bit longer, where Bo kind of has this real sped up clock, and he'll hit the first read. If it's not there, he's either dumping it down or taking off. Jarrett Stidham's not taking off. I mean, he will occasionally, but he's more of a hang in there, let a play develop, and I'm going to find a guy and get it to him kind of guy. So you're going to take a few more sacks that way, but you're also going to see some more explosive plays, and I think that plays a little bit in the Broncos' favor.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I saw that they opened the practice window on J.K. Dobbins. Does he have a chance to play in this game?
He does. Right now they're testing that foot out. We're wrapping up practice here in about 15 minutes or so, but he's been testing that foot out this week, and they're cautiously optimistic that he's going to be able to go. The other questions, Wattenberg will be a go at center, and then the receivers. Troy Franklin, I doubt it. We'll see. And then Pat Bryant, who had the concussion, his second in a month in that last game. He's going through the protocol. The extra day will allow him to clear it, but the controls are tighter, so we won't really know about that until tomorrow.
As somebody who we do on the show here, we have a big playoff fantasy league, and I got R.J. Harvey. I don't need J.K. Dobbins. I need more R.J. Harvey.
Well, RJ is great catching the ball out of the backfield. The problem for RJ is he's just not an instinctive runner right now. And, when you look at that, he's only been a running back for like 3 years. He was a quarterback before that. And so you can kind of see it when he's running. They love to use him down there in the goal line situations and spam him those touchdown catches. But he's more Reggie Bush than he is, pure running back at this point.
All right, let's go back to McDermott. You've been, I know, following you on social media. You have you've kind of talked about these coaching vacancies, jobs, whatever. So let's kind of go through those. Where do you see McDermott ending up?
I think he's going to wind up taking the year off and cashing that Buffalo check, just because the jobs that are available left for him aren't really, frankly, good. At the risk of saying so. I mean, when you get your second head coaching opportunity, you got to make it worth your while. You can't get in a situation down there like Arizona where you got a bad owner in a tough division and you're going to get run out in a couple of years. So,
what about the Ravens?
I think he's going to. Or
do you think that's going to be Minter?
I think that's going to be Jesse Minter with probably Cliff Kingsbury as his OC when all's said and done. So, we'll see. Pittsburgh looks like it's going to be either Chris Shula or Shieldhouse. Maybe McCarthy talks him into it, but I don't think so. I think you're going to wind up with Chris Shula there in Pittsburgh.
And what are you hearing, or what are you thinking on ours, where we've got kind of Jim Schwartz, and you got Shieldhouse, and you got Grant Udinski at this point?
Well, I've said from the jump, I thought it was probably going to be Schwartz and or Udinski, maybe a combination of both. We'll see. Udinski's an up and comer in this league, but I question his ability to put a staff together at this point. He doesn't know anybody, around the league. He hasn't worked enough places to know people to put together a full staff yet. Same thing with Shilhas. So that's sort of the thing. I think, if you can find a combination where you can bring one of those guys in, maybe Shilhas is the OC and Schwartz is kind of the head coach for now, and then, you kind of groom him a little bit. Maybe you got something in the future, but I think it's going to be some combination of Udinski and Schwartz personally.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are excited about that. He wouldn't have to pull anything for a defensive staff in that case with Udinski, because you'd have Schwartz and the excellent staff that the Browns have there, and you just have to bring in some pieces on offense and see ultimately, I guess, what that looks like. What do you make of this kind of coaching cycle where we had, a couple of hires right away? You get Harbaugh right away. You get Kevin Stefanski soon thereafter. Halfley now is down there in Miami, but there's still so many openings, and is this all going to happen kind of quickly next week? Because I know teams are waiting on some guys, everybody who's on the Rams or the Broncos, that they're waiting for those guys, or the Seahawks to be able to finish before they can't interview them in person until next Monday.
Right, that's the big component of that, specifically with Arizona and with the Raiders. The Arizona Cardinals are eyeing Vance Joseph. Obviously he's got previous experience down there as their defensive coordinator, so they can't interview him. And then Kubiak over there for the Raiders. Somebody else that's in there. Webb is theoretically in play for the Raiders as well, but I think Kubiak's the apple of their eye. So we'll see. But that's really why you've seen this come in chunks. The guys who are available, the top tier guys, those go first, and then you see a smat out of things, and then you'll see it go fast next week once we know who's playing in the Super Bowl, who can interview, that kind of stuff.
Ben, it is always a pleasure. Good luck on your with your ticket there on the Broncos. You check him out at KOA Colorado out there, where he's the NFL insider and Broncos insider, and does a great many things. Follow him on Twitter as well at Allbright NFL. He is a great friend of the program. Great talking to you, dude.
Hey, look forward to seeing you in Indy, brother.
Yeah, we'll see you in Indy. All right, when we come back, we'll get a little bit more mailbag, wrap it up here. You are listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, an official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly. Welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily. Wrapping it up here on a Thursday edition of the program. We're going to bring back in the great Gibbe. We got a little bit more mailbag, Gibbe?
Absolutely. A lot of great questions. We'll get to as many as we can.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get to some that someone was all worried about us getting to.
Okay.
It's all right. He doesn't have anything else to do in life. Would you rather your phone only charge in public places or only work while plugged in? Bobby time.
Would I rather my phone only charge in public places or only work when it's plugged in? No, I don't want it to have to be plugged in. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, he asked. I'm just asking it.
No, then I would charge it in a public place.
There you go.
Like this is a public place. We'd charge our phones here.
I'd like to think so. Would you rather be famous for something embarrassing or incredibly rich but mildly disliked? So let me. The English language escaped me for a quick second.
Yeah, that didn't.
Would you rather be famous for something embarrassing,
Okay.
or incredibly rich but mildly disliked? I'm going option B.
Same.
Perfect.
Like,
Go ahead.
am
and
I
hate
fame?
me.
Is
I'm
that
rich.
is that fame? To me, when you say famous for something embarrassing, it's almost like you're infamous, like El Guapo.
Yeah.
Infamous. But does that fame lead to great wealth and a great life? The other one, it sounds like at least you have that, mildly disliked. I mean, I would imagine that most people that are successful and well have some haters.
That's right.
So, and it's only mildly disliked, right?
Mildly. It's a no-brainer.
Fine. No brainer. Sold.
Would you rather always be 10 minutes late to everything or always be 20 minutes early and forced to just sit there alone? I already know the answer to this for you.
First of all, you don't know the answer to
I
that
do.
for me. No,
1 million percent.
Well, then
the
I'm going to
whole
shock you right
peanut
now.
gallery.
I'm going to shock you right now. I don't want to be early, nor do I want to be late. I want to be on time. However,
On time is
I
late.
find being 10 minutes late somewhere is so rude. So I want to be on time. And I lived a portion of my life where there was a lot of lateness due to circumstances beyond my control. I don't want to do that. I would be early and I would complain about it for 20 minutes. I'd be like, I'm just sitting here doing nothing. I would
Boy.
do a lot of complaining.
I feel like that's a daily thing
Yeah,
here.
but that's a reasonable. But
Usually
yes,
about 1:30.
yes, but right. But I've never come late.
You toe the line exceptionally well.
Those times when I come running in when the show's on, I'm like here in the building. I'm involved in meetings and discussions.
You almost said that. You almost got through that without laughing.
Well, it's true. It's true.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Listen, Peanut Gallery.
A lot of stifling going on back here.
The truth is, I don't like wasting. Nobody likes to have their time wasted. When I'm early, I'm not the reason necessarily that time is being wasted, right? That's just a circumstance. I don't want to be the reason that somebody else's time is wasted. I feel badly about that, if that
Fair.
happens.
All right. I'll give you a hall pass there.
Thank you.
The clown with a few questions. What's a small habit or routine that genuinely makes your day better? Question sucks.
Right now, it is. I make bottles for Luke so that he can have sustenance and live. I like to clean the granite. We already know that's my Olympic sport.
I
Love
believe
to do
the
it.
Nana.
I love to do that. Love to do a little. Yeah, she chimed in.
confirmed.
She confirmed it. She said, yes, you would be very good. I like to do the dishes. I like to leave a clean kitchen. I don't like to have filth.
I like that. What's one thing?
And working out. I would say working out. I got to work out. It
There
makes
you
me
go.
feel much better.
What's one thing you've changed your mind about in the last few years, and what caused the shift?
Now, let's not go crazy and act like I'm going to go dip something in yellow mustard, but I don't mind. I'm trying to warm up to mustard a little bit. I'm not all the way there, but I'm trying.
A lot of different mustard options.
Honey mustard, I'm in.
Okay.
A hot honey mustard, more in. A stone ground, I'm not afraid of. The yellow is not for me. A straight yellow is not for me.
It's good.
It's not for me. But I'll use it like I would in the olden days. I would have never even like used that. Sometimes like you make like pork and you have pork roast and you want to use that as a binding
I use the yellow
agent.
mustard as a base
Yeah.
with a lot of my smoking.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
So like, but it doesn't taste like mustard.
Correct.
Fortunately. But that's something that I used to be like adamantly no, you cannot put that on there, and now I'm okay.
I'm going to edit this question. If you could have dinner with any fictional character from book, movie, game, etc., who and why? But I'm taking out Larry David.
Oh, he's a real person.
Also that. I feel like it's someone from Game of Thrones you'd like to have a conversation with.
That would be a good one. This is I'm really. Give it to me again.
If you could have dinner with any fictional character from books, movies, games, etc., who and why?
So, like, is The Rock a fictional character?
Probably not.
Because he's
Like
The
that's
Rock.
where the gray area comes in.
That's a little bit of gray area. I think like there's a time in my life where I would have wanted to talk to Jack Bauer and just made sure he was like my homie. I made sure he was on my side. Like,
Your dog?
hey Jack, I have a problem. Give him a little wink, and he's like, "You don't anymore."
This Pedro guy.
Yeah, this guy's
Can
tough.
you
He's
can
tough.
you eliminate this problem?
Yeah. So he's somebody.
Okay.
I mean, I would love to hang out with Daniel Day-Lewis's character from Last of the Mohicans, just because I love that movie, and I feel like me and him would have a heck of a time out there.
Be
in
an
the
interesting
wilderness.
dinner if he wore that out.
I know, but yeah, dinner. I mean, and then the other answer would be like, right, like maybe I'd like to have a meal cooked for me by the rat from Ratatouille.
Maybe we'll put that in the new radio booth.
That could be the
There you
Ratatouille
go.
rat.
Add that
could
to
be,
the list.
Yeah, we watched that with. I watched that with Luca the other day. Fine film, actually, really good.
Final one from the clown. What's a childhood memory that still makes you smile no matter what? I don't know if you have any childhood memories. Of
Yeah, then I mean, Niners Super Bowls were great. That makes me smile. Game 3 of that World Series where McGuire hit the walk-off. That one makes me smile. I was there. Met Dwight Clark in a
30.
full-length fur. Lots of things, man. But I was the king of the circus. Another story for another day. That'll do it. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly. You've been listening to 850 ESPN Cleveland.